Hey, self-explorers, welcome back to Soul Astrology. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about self-exploration with soul astrology using your sun, moon, and rising sign. Before we start, remember to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any updates, and to like and share. Click the link to download your free guide, your essential guide to soul astrology, and that will really help you to understand soul astrology a little bit better. And you can read about the 12 zodiac signs and their soul-centered meanings in more depth in my book, Soul Astrology, how your rising sign reveals your soul path and life purpose. Okay, so let's begin. So self-exploration with soul astrology using your sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, first things first, in order to use your sun, moon, and rising sign, you need to know what they are. So you need to have either had your horoscope done or get a free birth chart done. I'll add a link below. Just click on the link below and you'll be able to enter your birth details to get a free birth chart. If you don't know your birth time, it's worth spending some time investigating to find out, because it is important when it comes to pinpointing your soul sign. If not, there are other things that you can do. You can use divination to try and find out your birth time. But as a beginner, you can have your birth chart done and you can easily start using your sun and moon signs to begin with. And you can get a lot of information from that. And then later you can pinpoint with some accuracy what your rising sign is, so you can find your soul sign. So once you know what your sun, moon, and rising sign are, you want to get familiar with the qualities, the positive and the negative attributes of those three signs. Now, download the free guide, because in your essential guide to soul astrology, there is a brief introduction to each of the sun and the moon signs. There's a brief introduction to each of the soul signs on my website. And then in my book, Soul Astrology, How Your Rising Sign Reveals Your Soul Path and Life Purpose, there's much more in-depth information about the 12 signs. And it's important to look at both the personality and soul-centered meanings of all three signs. So our soul sign, our rising sign, is our highest potential that we are born with, that we're awakening to. And that potential is being expressed through our sun and our moon signs. Of the personality signs, the sun and the moon have the most influence on our day-to-day life and are the easiest for us to observe. So from the perspective of self-exploration, it's better to start just by observing how your sun and your moon and your rising sign show up in your life. Your sun sign represents prana. It shows life force energy, how you express your life force energy. What do you find yourself doing on a day-to-day basis? That's probably going to be more in alignment with your sun sign. For example, my sun is in Gemini, so I've spent a lot of my life speaking, communicating, reading, writing. So my life force energy, my prana, has been directed through that channel. And that's how it works. Your prana, your life force energy, is expressed through your sun sign. Our moon sign can be a bit more challenging because it's an energy that we are not 100% comfortable with. For a lot of the time, we don't know, or we don't see, we don't recognize the energy of our moon sign unless we've started to do quite a bit of work on personal development and awakening ourselves and looking at our own behaviors and patterns. So until we've done quite a bit of self-exploration, we might not see the energy of our moon sign until somebody pushes our buttons. You can read a bit more about this in the free guide, your essential guide to soul astrology, so download that. But essentially, our moon sign is our emotions and our whole emotional world. So how we react and respond when others push our buttons, when we feel emotionally charged, that's more likely to be in the nature of our moon sign. So for me, my moon sign is Leo, and I can react like a Leo when I feel very insecure. That's a moon theme is our safety, our security, and our emotional world. So I can be a typical Leo, a drama queen, when I feel emotionally insecure or I feel like I'm threatened in some way. So I can, through self-observation and exploration, I can now realize that in myself. I can almost stop that tendency to overreact and be over dramatic before it gets started. So that's one of the ways in which we can start to work with our astrology on our path of self-exploration. Our soul sign is more subtle. Often it's ticking away like a theme in the background throughout our whole life, but we don't often become more aware of our soul sign until we're in our midlife. I would say around the age 40, we really start to awaken into our soul sign. So my rising sign is Cancer. And one of the themes for a Cancer soul is awakening compassion, bringing more compassion into the world and recognizing our human family is one family. So with the Cancer personality is quite family oriented, more towards our family of birth or close friends and neighbors. Once we move to the soul-centered meaning of Cancer, we start to view our human family. We start to view the world as our family. Our human brothers and sisters are all our family. And that's more the theme of the soul-centered meaning of Cancer. And so for me personally, what I've noticed through my whole life is this tendency towards caring. So I was a nurse when I was younger. Cancer's the sign of nursing. Then I became a midwife. And then I began to teach. There would be the Gemini piece coming in, the Gemini prana, life force energy. But I was teaching about caring. I was teaching about nursing and teaching about healthcare. Then later in life, I spent the last 10 years caring for my mother. So there's another Cancerian theme and a moon theme. The moon represents the mother. Cancer is associated with the mothers and motherhood. And so the soul sign of Cancer, the compassion of Cancer, becomes expressed through the communication of Gemini and the creativity of the moon in Leo, the creativity of writing and publishing books and making YouTube videos. So the communication of Gemini and the creativity of Leo is how, in my case, the compassion of Cancer is focused into the world. So you will see this when you get familiar with your own sun, moon, and rising sign. You'll see how the rising sign is what you've come here to do. In my case, learn more compassion. And then the sun and the moon signs become how you will do it. In my case, Gemini, communication, and Leo, creativity. So you express the energy of your soul sign through the lens of your sun and your moon signs. So find out what your sun, moon, and rising sign are, and we'll say more in future about how this technique of using your sun, moon, and rising sign can support you in your path of spiritual awakening. Remember to click the link below to download your free guide and learn more about soul astrology. And when you're ready to go deeper, have a look at my book, Soul Astrology, How Your Rising Sign Reveals Your Soul, Path and Life Purpose. That tells you a lot more about the soul purpose of each of the 12 signs. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you love soul astrology, remember to like and share and subscribe to this channel. See you next time.